Hello everyone, it is Pal Ponder on Weather coming at you with another video. I'm super excited to bring you my official 2019-2020 winter outlook for this year and how I think this is going to play out. I did spend a lot of time on this to be as accurate as possible for you guys. So I do ask you, if you do like weather related content, please subscribe to my channel and definitely share with your friends and family on social media that you think that loves weather related content, as this fuels my passion to continue to do what I love to do, is bring you the weather. All right, so let's get started. So here's my overall precipitation outlook and how I think this winter is going to play out for 2019-2020. The latest Climate Prediction Center had the end zone neutral taking place back on August the 8th. That's when it started. They had a 75% chance it was going to last all the way through spring. And now they've actually upgraded as of November 4th to an 85% chance it's going to last all the way through spring. So here, I think in the darker shaded brown, where I think you're just going to have drier conditions, where you're going to have this ridge, this high latitude blocking, where it's just not going to be the driest area in the country. But I do think you're going to have normal precipitation. We're going to have not above or not below a huge part of Oregon, Washington, Nevada, Utah, Colorado, and Kansas, and parts of Montana. And I do think you're going to have a below normal precipitation in Arizona, New Mexico, a huge chunk of Texas. Dallas-Fort Worth averaged 7.5 inches of precipitation for winter, which is December 1st through February. But I do think you're going to have a late winter this year, lasting well into March. But overall, you're going to have a below average precipitation in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. But you're going to have normal precipitation in southern Florida. But I do think we're going to have those, what they call convergent zones or baroclinic zones, where these storm tracks are going to meet, and you're going to have a lot of warm air off the coast of the Atlantic Ocean, which I think is going to enhance the precipitation on these storm tracks. So in the parts of Dakotas and Nebraska, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan, all the New England states, and predominantly much of the Southeast is going to be above average precipitation. All right, so let's move on to the temperature outlook. If you were with me on my last winter outlook about a month ago, I really didn't change this much. My analogs have always been 2013, 2014, 14, 15. I've been pretty confident on that. The coldest winter in 6 years, and it could be potentially even colder. So I do think this is even somewhat conservative in this outlook. But over the winter outlooks, I've actually shifted the colder air further west, and I've actually extended it further south, where now we'll start with again, on the West Coast in California, where I do think you're just going to have the warmest area of all the country in parts of California. And then again, above average temperatures and a little bit further west of that. And then just normal conditions in Washington, Oregon, and parts of Arizona. But this blue area where it says frigid, and I mean frigid, guys, this is going to be extremely Arctic intrusions. I expect stratospheric warming events, polar vortexes, coming down with these storm systems. And we've already seen some of this, but this will only intensify as we get deeper into the winter months. And this blue shaded area in much of the Dakotas and Wisconsin and Michigan and all the New England states is just going to be frigid, cold, Arctic air, relentless over those winter months, from anywhere from, like I said, December all the way through late March. So I do think this is going to be a late winter this year, guys. All right. And you're going to have well below normal conditions, even temperatures extending well into Montana, Nebraska, Kansas, West Virginia, and all the New England states coming up the coast. And then even, again, below normal temperatures in Idaho, Utah, and all the Missouri, Kentucky, and West Virginia, and DC, and even, again, slightly below normal temperatures, again, a baseline you average 33 freezes in Dallas-Fort Worth. I think you're going to have anywhere from 40 to 50 this year. So that'll kind of give you a baseline on how cold I think this winter is going to be in New Mexico and parts of Texas, all the way down to even Houston, guys, below normal temperatures for you guys coming up for this winter. Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, and the Carolina states. But as you're going to have these Arctic intrusions, you're going to be cold in the deep south. But I think over those 90 days of winter, it's just overall, you're going to have above normal temperatures in the deep south and hugging the coast and predominantly parts of Florida. I do think you're going to have freezes in the panhandle, but overall above normal temperatures coming up for the state of Florida. And here's my overall snowfall outlook for 2019-2020. Again, I've even become more bullish on the snow this year. I think 80% of the country is going to see some sort of snowfall this year. And we'll start with the heavier swath to kind of give you an idea. If I extended this further west and further south over my winter outlooks, but now Montana, Wyoming, Colorado, all the Dakota states, Nebraska, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan, and heavy, heavy lake effect snow. And these lake effects, I expect 10 feet of snowfall over the course of winter. So a lot of snow coming up for you guys in Syracuse and Buffalo, all the New England states in Maine, Bangor, Maine, Pennsylvania. Again, you can see I put out a snowfall outlook. I gave you some predictions. Again, a baseline. Pittsburgh averages 40 inches of snow. I think you're going to have 60 inches of snow. So that kind of gives you a baseline of where this heavier swath, how much snow that you normally average of what you might get for this upcoming winter. And then it's still a moderate snow in Kansas and Missouri and Kentucky and South Ohio and Indiana and West Virginia and Virginia. And then even lighter snow amounts, again, where you're going to get snow into Portland, Washington, Seattle, even parts of Nevada, northern Nevada, Utah, northern Arizona, northern New Mexico. Again, Dallas-Fort Worth averages 1.7 inches. I'm thinking anywhere between 4 and 6 inches. You haven't seen any snow in 5 years. I think that streak ends this year. And even down to Houston, you're going to see snowfall this year. It's just going to be one of those years. I think it's going to be places that you're going to get snow that you have not seen in years, at least some snow, okay? And all the way down to the deep south in Arkansas and Mississippi and Tennessee and Georgia and Alabama and all the Carolina states. And unfortunately, down in the deep south, Florida, I know you guys always miss out, but I don't think anybody moves to Florida to see snowfall, okay? But it's not out of the question that the panhandle might see some snow in these Arctic outbreaks, but it's just not going to be heavy enough where I think it's going to be worth putting it into the lighter snow area. All right. So let's move on to the overall summary and how I think this winter is going to play out. I did spend a lot of time on this map, so let's take it zone by zone. Again, we'll start out west and the warmest area in California, where I just think you're going to be the driest and the warmest area for much of the United States. Again, normal conditions where, yes, you are going to see some snowfall in Oregon, but overall, between the highs and lows, it's predominantly just a normal winter for you guys in Oregon and parts of Washington, Nevada, where do with it in this wide area where you historically see mountain snows, you're still going to get those mountain snows this year. And let's move on to the Arctic blast zone. We're going to have these northwest flow events. Again, I expect a deep ridge where what they call high latitude blocking, above average temperatures in Alaska, and have these storm tracks, these blocking, this Greenland block over here. You're going to have warmer conditions, warmer ocean conditions off the coast here, where you're going to have these battle zones and these blocking events, where they have these Arctic intrusions come in parts of Montana and Wyoming, and that's in the green shaded area. But this dark blue, again, you're just going to have the most frigid air and heavy snow in Dakotas, South Dakota, North Dakota, Michigan, Minnesota, and parts of Wisconsin. And again, heavy lake effect snow in all these areas, 10 feet plus. All right, so we had a warm September where I think these lakes are extremely warm, and as these systems come off, that you're going to have these what they call banding and training snow bands come in and dump heavy amounts of snow in these Arctic intrusion events. And this deeper blue area where I think you're going to have these, again, Arctic intrusions, and again, a lot of snow in Colorado and Nebraska and Illinois and Indiana and Ohio and West Virginia and parts of Virginia. And where you're going to have that kind of a battle zone in the pink area where you're going to have that kind of a wintry mix in Kansas and Kentucky and all that North Carolina, where I do think you're going to have, predominantly, I put southern snow just because you guys have not seen snow in several years, are going to see some snow in this blue shaded area. So I do expect wintry mix and some icing events in this area in Texas and Dallas-Fort Worth and Amarillo, New Mexico, in Arkansas and Tennessee, a drier area in Arizona and parts of the deep south and South Texas, and this big swing temperatures where I think we're going to have these Arctic intrusions come all the way down to Mexico, and you're already kind of seeing that play out on Tuesday. Brownsville high of 85, and they're going to be highs in the 40s on Wednesday, and that's the kind of Arctic intrusion air where it's going to come all the way down to Mexico, and that's kind of definitely rare. That does not happen every year. So that's what I mean by big temperature swings. You're going to have these Arctic intrusions come in, and Arctic air is the driest air. So this will be drying up as it filters south. But I do think you're going to have some what they call overrunning events on the backside, where I do think you're going to have some snow. So you're going to have more chances this year with these Arctic intrusions, and all we have to have is one or two systems coming across to bring you some nice snowfall in the deep south. And as this transitions in the green shaded area and southeast, where it's not to say that you can't get any snowfall in this area, especially the further north you live, but it predominantly is going to be chilly and wet with above average precipitation in Louisiana, Mississippi, Georgia, South Carolina, and parts of the Panhandle. And then again, as you go to the deep south into Florida, you're just going to get more or less average conditions. But we'll swing up the coast here to the northeast, where I think you're going to have predominantly these storm systems are going to merge with this warm water off the coast and a ridge off the coast of Alaska. And you're going to have what they call these baroclinic zones or convergent zones, where you're going to have along the coast these clipper systems, these northeastern setups, where they can have coastal storms and bring heavier snow amounts along the coast, but not as heavy inland, because you're going to have that warm water vapor feeding in off the coast. But in this orange shaded area, that's where I think you're just going to have more or less in that winter battle zone area, that convergent zone setup, where you're going to have some pretty healthy blizzard setups coming up this winter. So now, you're going to get a lot of snow in this area, but this is going to be, predominantly over time. And in the orange shaded area, you're going to have, less events, but when they're going to be really big events. And the blizzard area in Pennsylvania and New York and, New Hampshire, now all the New England states in this, orange shaded area is going to have, heavy blizzard setups coming up for this winter. So that'll kind of give you an overall description and setup and how I think winter's going to play out. I appreciate you guys staying with me and tuning in. Thank you so much for watching. And yes, please subscribe to my channel if you found value in this video, and definitely share with you guys on social media. And stay with me. I update about 5 times a week to bring you the latest in weather. So catch me in the next video where I protect you before and after the storm.